Hey everyone. So, this topic is something that a lot of people go through more than you think. I'm gonna start with myself. So, I know I told y'all when I was a kid, I was touched as a little girl, as around like 3 or 4 years old. I was touched by another little girl. Well, she was older than me. And I told y'all how it had me to go through different emotions because I didn't know about sexuality. I just knew love was love. That was me. I just knew love was love. That was it. As in, like, my body and all of that, I didn't understand my body. I'm a kid. I didn't understand my body like that. So when I was little, basically I just looked at love as love. I don't care who you are, what you are. If you love me, I'm gonna love you too. So that's literally how I grew up. However, dealing with the church, I know when it came to same sex, it was like a huge thing. It's like blasphemy, like go to hell, and you're like in same sex, go to hell, and this and that. And it messed with me because, like I told y'all in another video, I didn't know how to tell my mother that some little girl touched on me. Now this is me not knowing that they didn't, like, it was spells put on me, and this is why these things happen. And that's why I went through a lot of the stuff. But I didn't know that. I had ideas, but I didn't know that was one of the spells that was put on me. I knew I had spells, but I didn't know it was that at that time. And so I didn't know how to tell my mother because my mom used to look at people that was like that, like they was like disgusting and stuff. And I'm like, I can't talk to her about that. I didn't have anyone else I could talk to and say, hey, this is what happened, and or I'm getting these thoughts about females and, you know, like girls and stuff like that. And, you know, yeah, that's kind of how I grew up. I was liking girls when I was I like guys, but I also had like girls too. But that was because what happened to me. I didn't know any better. And I even talked about recently that I remembered that I forgot about once I got like in middle school, since I didn't have anyone to talk about sex to me and let me know about it. We had sex education, but that wasn't enough for me. So I did my little discovery, and see, this is how we was programmed. So you remember Jerry Springer? That's how we was programmed. When Jerry Springer came out and you start seeing all of this stuff, and now that's what I used to do. I used to Google Jerry Springer stuff, and then when they talked about certain sexual things, that's how I done it. Certain movies, as kids, we be wrong, we search and stuff, and I found one of my mom's tapes. I'm gonna call it what it is. She had it hidden. When I was a kid, I was bored. I didn't have anybody to talk to and play with sometimes, so I was by myself. So I go on little scavenger hunts. That's what I called it, little scavenger hunts. And I came across a movie, and that was all. That was all, folks. Now, for me, I wasn't a type of person that was like having sex at a young age. I didn't have a physical, like with a guy. I didn't have that until after I got out of high school. When I was in college, I think I was like 19. I think 19. That was my first time. And so, but yeah, I saw one of her videos, the VHS tapes. Boy, saw that, and my mind was blown after that. And what happened was, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know there was spells on me. And before you know it, when I was at school, before they had like where they used to go and search in the search engines, I would go into the incognito and start looking up stuff. Now, schools know what you're doing now because they watch you, but at the time, I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know spells, and I was just looking up stuff, and I'm just over there watching stuff when everybody going out to play, because nobody want to play with me. Nobody want to do nothing to me, so I just said, can I sit to the side? I get a little computer in the corner, and I'm just a watching, trying to understand stuff. Because I ain't have anybody else to tell me. I didn't have anybody else to show me stuff. Not show me, but let me understand about the body forms and all of these different things. So that's what's getting to where I'm going at. So, and I have to be honest, I did have an encounter with a girl when I was younger. I didn't really discuss that, but I had, and it's not something I wanted to happen. No, I did not. Again, I didn't know there were spells on me I didn't know these elites was doing stuff to me. They was making me do these things. They was making me do a lot. Like, yeah, they was making me do some things that I ain't like. So yeah, like I said, when it came to a guy, no, but I did have an encounter with a girl later on in life, and so it wasn't something I wanted to do. It was like they was like, I'm doing stuff, and then after the fact, I'm like, what was that? And I ain't gonna lie, I was like, ugh. But at the same time, I'm like, what was that? It was so many different emotions, and so that's my story, and you know, but I ain't the only one that been through that. Also, when I got older, I told you I was, molested. There's a lot of little things that happened to me that I'm remembering and I'm not too fond on, but I was physically molested before as well. So yeah, so I'm just saying it like this: a lot of kids out here have had more sexual encounters than y'all think, and so this is what happens. Same-sex stuff happens very early age. Just to let you know, very early, very early age. It actually happens technically around the age 5 is normally when these kids start to do, because what happens is this: one, y'all promote in the world now, and see, back in the day, it was one of those things where we couldn't find it. We could not find it at all. Like, you literally had to. You see that I got my little aluminum foil. You had to put aluminum foil on the antenna and wiggle it the right way so you can get to that little show. Or when pay-per-view and stuff came in, you wiggle it the right way, you can see stuff. How many of y'all remember when y'all was younger, your kids were the cable bill was super high because you had these little movies on, because you saw a movie and you saw Beauty and the Beast. Oh, I want to see that. I want to see Beauty and the Beast. It was a beast, alright. Y'all know about that. The Little Mermaid. Oh, I want to see Little Oh heck, because yes, that's how they got kids back in the day. When cable started being a thing, or direct TV, satellite TV and stuff, they would create pornos with the Disney like Disney titles, so that kids would go up there and be like, oh, I want to watch that, because parents not around or whatever, so you're thinking you watching a regular movie, and before you know, surprise. How many of y'all had those on y'all account, had that $400 bill and stuff? Yeah, that's how it happened. So a lot of us as kids learn a lot of that. When technology became a thing, we learned. And see, before it was like magazines. So y'all had magazines, the older ones. So the ones that's like in y'all 50s and up, 40s and up, y'all had magazines. So y'all just had pictures here, picture there. That was it. But when we came into the block, there was a little bit more than that. So because of that, once we start seeing these people actually in action, ooh, I want to try. So that's one part to the story. In certain situations, especially with guys and females, a female be like, ooh, this is what a guy do. Female, how many of y'all used to play mama and daddy as kids? Some of y'all had to play mama and daddy. Yeah, those interactions when y'all was playing together, like when you were around your parents, was one thing, but when the parents was gone, you was really thinking you was mama, daddy, and that happened. So that's what happened to me. And so that happened to a lot of people, because you're like, the mommy not here, so maybe can I try it? Let me try to do this, or vice versa. Like, guys doing the guy, the girl doing the girl type thing. And you find out, I don't like that. I don't like it. However, now it's on your storyline. Now it's in your memory bank. So now what happens? You go out in the world, you're trying to prove to yourself, I don't like these things. I keep having these thoughts, but I don't like these things. I don't want these things. But once it's a memory, is a memory. And it make you confused. It make you wonder, is this something that I really want? Do I really want to do this? Do I really like this? And but a lot of times you find out like you don't. You just got caught up in something that you did as a kid that you thought was okay. That's really what it is. You thought it was okay. My mama do it, my daddy do it, my cousin do it, my aunt do it, my uncle do it, my grandparents do it, so I guess I can do it. And that's what happened. So that one time thing can plague on you the rest of your life, where when you're out and you're interacting with the same sex person, like just as friends or just random right by, those thoughts pop in your head. And it's not that you want it. Like for me, there's times when those thoughts pop in my head. There's times when like a female, because love is love to me. Okay, love is just love to me. You know, when I see somebody loving themselves, not loving themselves, but when they love them and I can feel that energy, it makes me draw to that energy. It's like, wow, you look amazing, you look beautiful. Don't matter how a person looks to once it's standard, you might not be the idol person, but to me, I'm like, you look amazing, because I can feel that energy. So there could probably be times y'all might see it even when I get out here. Y'all might see me look at you, not trying to look at you, but you're just beautiful because of the love within you. So sometimes it can play on your head and make you think, am I liking them like that? I don't mean that. It's just you just feel the love off of these people. But at the same time, the other part to it is you had a bad experience, and this is what happened. Alright, let me jump to another part. Like I said, when it comes like to spells and stuff, the other part of it is, how can I say it? The other part is somebody can force you into it. Like a family member can say, hey, try this real quick. I need it. Okay, that's what that one was. Okay, so you had that older family member, or you had that family member that been in my situation where something happened to them, and then what they'll do is they'll come to you and be like, hey, you want to try this real quick? And if you're, call it naive, because we all was naive. What you talking about? Hey, try this real quick. I'm going to utilize guys now. Try this real quick. Do this real quick. And you're like, no, I don't want to do that. Come on, just try it real quick, because that person want to see how it really feels. They want to know, how does it really feel? And the other person's like, no, I don't want to do that. And they like, come on, I ain't gonna tell nobody. And before you know it, the person like, because now they curious, because they want to know, they seen something happen before too, and now they want to know, well, if nobody gonna know, I would like to know what's this all about too, because my mom does it, you know, my auntie does it. Because how many times you catch your family members do it and you see how they get turned on? How many of y'all walked into your parents' room by accident, your sister, your brother room by accident, your uncle, cousin, or your best friend, somebody family member by accident, and you see how they got turned on and they was happy and stuff? So you're like, is this gonna make me happy? I want to try. Let me see what happens. And then you do it, and then you realize, I don't like it. Now you still got that thought in your head that you done it. Now when it comes to guys as well, it screws with your manhood, because it make you feel like, yo, I done something dumb. And it ain't, I'm gonna call it like this. In one sense, you can say it's dumb. The other sense is you did not know. You did not know. Because guess what? Especially our young, like older ones that's in our age range, 30s and up or whatever, a lot of us didn't know about sex as easily as the younger ones. The younger ones learn at that 5-year age, and they get to know about all of these things. For us, we was more naive. So for us, a person like, for me, I didn't know what gay was and all of that until like I got in like middle school. I didn't know what a lesbian looked like, or how y'all called it dyke back then. I didn't know what one truly looked like until I got into college. When I got into college, was my first time seeing one, or knowing what a lesbian was. And this, I heard about them, but I didn't know what one was, and I was in college. So this is more to the ones that's in my age bracket and older, that going through this stuff. Now the younger ones, they know a little bit more, but it's like they're taking on the deed. They taking on that whole thing. But the older ones, there's a lot of y'all that's out here that been through these experiences, and it's like it's eating you up, because you want to tell somebody like, dog, like, I get why you the way you are now. I get why you into guys and stuff, because something happened to you or this happened, and now you got curious, and now you know how that feeling feel. It's like you don't want to be that way, but it makes you happy. You understand? And I get that. Do that mean that take away your manhood? Let's ask the females, does it take away a femalehood? See, this is a thing. I know when I'm not promoting same sex. However, we got to get over the hump to understand it. Once we understand the hump, then we know how to help our younger ones how to not get caught up in it. Okay, that's what's going on. But we have to be honest with ourselves, because that's the reason why they are like that. That's why they changing genders. They going through all of these things, because they don't understand where the origin of all of this came from. Same sex came from people getting raped at an early age, molested at an early age. It's also from spells, not knowing what sex really was at an early age. That's where it came from. It wasn't a trend. It wasn't a trend. It was just something. And if you want to go further back, way back in the day, how sexuality really came about was when guys used to go back way back in time. Okay, so you know how there was like sailors used to go out on these long scavengers, and when they went on these long scavengers, there was no women around. They still got aroused. They still had those moments where their energies was going up. Well, the wives wasn't there to help them. So 6 months out, no TV, no books. All you see is water and another man. That's where true sex, same sex came from. That's where it came from. Cause when they was out, they got to the point they was like, well, if you do this for me, I ain't gonna tell nobody. Because that's why anal became a big thing. See, anal was against the rules because it's something that comes out. Anal was against the rules a long time ago. Anal was against the rules. Okay, because that's a detox that takes that, that was against the rules. However, men thought that if they do it like that, they wouldn't be considered as gay. No different than women be like, hey, I'm a virgin. Well, if you do it in that area, then I'm still a virgin. Same thing. That's where it came from. Okay, so that's what's caused a lot of in the closets. Okay, so a lot of these men, and see, that's where all the diseases and all that start coming from. Because I'm gonna have to call it what it is. It was because of the Caucasians, the whites. They the ones started it. They the ones that started that lineup. But somehow they transferred it more over to the black community. Someone told the black community, and that's how they got caught up. And so they've been trying to keep it in the black community so that it don't look like the white community was when it started. However, that's why it's more people there's more homosexuals in the black community than the white community. That's why when the whites come out and say they that, that's why the market price goes up. When a black person or someone of the other race say it, the market price goes down. Okay? They want to make it look like it was exotic. Excuse me. Let me get back on topic. So, yeah, so a lot of people went through these things. So this is the part. So I talked about how spells can be a part. I talked about how sometimes one person can be a part of it and they get somebody to get caught up into it. Now the other part is when a person is raped or molested. Okay, I know I talked about molestation a little bit, but there are times when, as a kid, you got that uncle that's watching you that don't supposed to be watching you, or that cousin watching you, and this Okay, women rape men just like men rape men. Women rape women just like men rape women. Okay, these kids at young ages. And what happens is when a person get molested or raped one time, it's a, what's the word? The word ain't coming to me. If I can remember, and I will. But what happens is when it happens, especially if a person don't have anybody to tell, when they get those thoughts, they start running with it. Because now, even though a person get raped, right? And I know people don't want to talk about this, but sometimes when people get raped, they still get aroused. Okay? They still can get aroused. And some people, when they get raped, it screws with them, and that's why they go to the same sex. If a man rapes a female, sometimes that will make she don't get aroused in the mix of it, she'll want to be with another female. Okay? If she does get raped by a man and she gets aroused, then she'll still be with another man. However, I don't know what it is, but for some reason when a person get raped, it's like it's like a pheromone. It's like something. It's like they always keep getting raped somewhere down the line. It's a spirit. That's what it is. A spirit get attached to you. And see, when that spirit gets attached to you, other spirits that see that spirit of fear, they know they'll come to you and do the same thing. And that's how some people get raped multiple times throughout their life, or molested multiple times throughout their life, because it's a spirit that got attached to you. And when those spirits see, hey, we open, they'll come in and do the same, because they see the trauma on you. And it's a trauma bond. Other trauma bond people know trauma bond people. So sometimes a person that has raped you, 9 times out of 10, they've been raped or molested somewhere in their life, and then they'll do the same to you. Does that trickle down all the time? No, but sometimes it does. But when it comes to men, when it happens, if a man got aroused in the midst of it, then 9 times out of 10 they're gonna be with men the rest of their lives. Because it's a euphoric feeling. It's this it's like a drug. Once you get that high, you gonna always search for it. So it's like, so when you have got, it only take one time, and even though you may not like how it happened, but if you got aroused off of it, yeah, more than likely you're gonna end up being with men. Same thing for a female. More likely you will be with a female if you got aroused. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. That's why people get stuck. See, for me, I didn't get aroused when the situation happened to me. When somebody was touching me, I didn't get aroused. So it didn't stick with me. I could have thoughts, but as me getting to the point where I feel like, hey, let me go be with another female or something like that, I can look, but I ain't gonna touch. That's it. I'm gonna be vulnerable and honest all day long. Y'all can judge y'all can judge yourselves, okay? Cause my spirit in there, so I don't care there either. Sorry, I had to have a moment. But yeah, so that's what happened. So this is where I want y'all to understand. I do have a couple videos I'm attaching, and one of them is Ye. Okay, he finally admitted to something. All right, he finally admitted. And he's going to probably talk more about it. He admitted to something that happened to him. And this is how we cleanse ourselves. This is how we get those demons off of us. Because those demons are always going to stay attached to you until you be honest. I'm not sitting here saying you got to go tell the whole world. But in order for him to actually be in a situation with me, he can't lie about nothing. That's what our situation was about, lies. He got to be honest with me with everything. Everything's on the table. I don't care if it's burnt or extra seasoning, what I need to know. Okay? Because real love is not going to judge you. It's going to understand you. It's not going to push you away. It's going to pull you closer in, because there was a moment where you was vulnerable, where You didn't have no one to go to. You didn't know how to handle the situation, and something happened. Do I supposed to look down at him now and take away his manhood because this situation happened? No. And that's what people issues are. We all been traumatized somewhere in our life, some form of fashion. Okay? Does that mean you less than a person because of that? No. And we need to stop doing it, especially to our men, because when it comes to men are they that force. It's like they that strength, right? Not saying women not, but once you break, when you break that fist, how you gonna fight? Okay, and we need to stop breaking that fist. Alright, we need to stop breaking that fist. Men been through a lot. And that's why they don't like to express themselves. Because females will bring their energy down so quick about what they've been through and this and that, and make them feel less than a man. If a man been through something, if you don't like, I'm like this. Either you gonna love him or not. Okay? It ain't right that a female can go out here and dabble in the pond and go sit back and have and it's not I'm not sitting here saying I know the disease and all of that. I get it. But it's a double standard. When females on top of females, everybody and their mama is cool with that. It's like, oh my God, that is amazing. It's exciting. It's sexy. Y'all be, and I've seen sisters, like sit back and be clapping their own sister butts, dancing up or grinding on their own sister butts, mama butts, daughter butts, aunties. I see that, but if that is acceptable, right? How many when y'all go out to the club, y'all be tapping on somebody, your girlfriend, your friends butt and stuff, and be grinding up on them? I know we protecting each other. No, you trying to get a feel. That's what it is. But you trying to lie to yourself and say that you just having a good time, but at the same time you showing that you have more than a good time. And like I said, I have seen where sisters are tapping that all the whole time, and that's cool. But then when it comes to men, a man goes through a traumatic situation and he try to be vulnerable with a female and say, hey, this happened to me. I was molested as a kid, I was raped as a kid, or I just need to be honest with you. We in a relationship, I'm be honest with you. This situation happened to me. Now, I'm not saying that that's what I want, but I got to be honest and let you know this happened. And my brain feels certain ways sometimes, but I don't want this stuff or whatnot. Can we be on the understanding, the same page, and understand? Can you accept me because of the trauma I've been through? Now, I've forgiven myself, but I want to be honest with you and say I've been down that road and this has happened to me, but I'm a new person. I'm a better person. I've changed my ways, or I made the right decisions to move. I've been seeing videos of people that transitioned and went back to who they originally was. So we're going to look down at them because a female transitioned to a man and now they're going back to the female. Or vice versa. What about the man that transitioned to a female and going back to being a man? We all been screwed somehow. Sexuality was being discovered within the last couple of years. We're just finally figuring out how to use the parts. Let's call it facts. They're going down on a female that just started 10 years, 20, 30, probably 30 years ago was the first time a man really went down on a female. Everybody is just finally knowing what the parts are, because further back in the day, our parents were the ones that's in our 30s and up. They never told us about that stuff because their parents never told them about that stuff. So we all was on a scavenger hunt trying to understand this whole life thing, but somehow the pieces got caught up in the mix. Now everybody's so happy they know how to utilize the parts. They promoting it at the same time to the kids. Now these kids is like I listen to my kids, or especially my daughter, she would be telling me all these kids at school, everybody bisexual and gay and all of that. Do y'all know majority of kids in school now are bisexual or full-blown gay? Do you know that? Don't know that. Because y'all finally learned how to use those body parts, and y'all finally getting an idea what to do with them. But now all these kids is confused. They are confused. But how can we unconfuse them? By being honest with ourselves and letting them know why we went through what we went through. It wasn't choice, it was demand. It was forced on us. It was forced on us. This simulation, this whole thing, it was rigged. Just so this moment of how our society with the LGBTQ 3560 AZs is 1, 2, 3, 4 square root to the pi organization. All of it started. It then, but like I told y'all before, it started in 1988. That's when we had little bits and pieces there, and we finally was getting to a point where people were starting to understand. Yeah, there was some closet ones, yeah, but they wasn't forcing it out on other people. They were starting to accept themselves. But it's like once they started accepting themselves, the younger ones that after them started throwing it out there, that made them uncomfortable. Yes, the older ones are very uncomfortable with your new crews. They're very uncomfortable, because all they want to do is just love themselves, despite what happened to them, despite what went on. They just want to love them. But then y'all went out here and ruined it and made it an event. It's like a goddamn new game now. Welcome to the LBG 95,100 square root pi show. That's what it became. And it's crazy. And now y'all trying to get into all these sports and all of this others. Yo, bring it back. It's time for us to understand the truth. Because as long as we can understand the truth, we can be able to solve the problems. We can't solve a problem with the wrong information, because we're always going to be missing a number or a letter somewhere. So this is the thing. If you are in a situation where you've been through something and you know that you got things going on and you want to be free from that bondage, be honest. If you're in a relationship with someone, truth hurts, but honesty heals. Put it like this. If you can't tell that person what's really good, then you need to walk away. Walk on. Because if they truly love you, they will understand you. If they look down at you, then they was never for you. Because a true one will lift you up and understand that you've been through some stuff. And if they don't understand that, kick rocks and get you another on demand. On that note, y'all have a blessed day.